already got a bunch of requests, but if you have something that you didn't tell me, just unmute yourself and yell at any time.
Okay.
All right. So let's bring hands together, feet together, and just stand tall. Find your breath. It doesn't have to be any particular way. Next exhale, just lower your arms. And on the inhale, we'll reach up and look up. We're going to bend the knees as we fold forward so that your back can round. And you can bring your head a little bit closer to your knees. Just stay here for a full breath. If you can, get your palms flat on the ground and push into the hands so your back rounds even more. Next inhale, whatever that is for you, straighten the legs, reach the chest forward, and we'll step back to plank, and we'll just stay there for a few breaths. The hips are not drooping in any way. If you feel like your hips are heavy and it's hurting your back, just put your knees down. One more breath. On the exhale, shift your weight forward and down for chaturanga. Inhale to roll the shoulders back, chest up, and exhale, downward dog. And we're only going to stay here for a full breath. And we'll step our feet about 12 inches forward, so it's a very short downward dog. We'll stay here for a breath. You have to push harder into your hands now so that the elbows don't bend. Step your feet forward a little bit more. Re-straighten the legs if you can. So it's not really looking like a downward dog anymore. Then bring your feet the rest of the way forward so they're between your hands. Inhale. And exhale, bend the knees as you fold so that your head comes close to your knees, round the back more. Belly in. And your next inhale, we're just going to stand all the way up, reach up and look up. Exhale, namaste, arms just by our sides. Again, inhale, reach up. As you fold, bend the knees, draw your belly in so you feel like you're making the biggest C shape that you can from your tailbone to the top of your head. On your next inhale, straighten the legs, chest forward, and we'll step to plank, exhale. Either stay here or bring your feet together and just lift, no, I lied, bring your feet apart to mat's width. Bring your hands together. Yes, this will work way better. So the thumbs touch. And just feel the stability of the hips here. Keep the arms straight. Don't let anything get droopy. Take one more breath. And bring the hands to shoulder width, the feet to hip width. Exhale for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. One full breath. And bring the feet in a bit. Another full breath. So now there's more weight in your hands. So you have to work harder to keep the arms straight. Walk the feet in a little more. Try again to straighten the arms. And then bring the feet all the way between the hands. Inhale for length of the spine. Bend the knees as you exhale. Make the biggest round that you can. Your hands may or may not be pressing into the floor, but you can get your belly to draw in. Next inhale, we'll come all the way to standing. Reach up, look up. Namaste. Exhale. Inhale. We'll just do one more with this weird little thing happening. Bend the knees as you fold. Stay here. You could, if you don't want your hand on the floor and you're having trouble with this belly thing, you could bring your hands to your belly, just to the sides of your belly button, and literally poke into your belly to try to lift your back higher. Your mid-back will go up. Next inhale, straighten the legs, chest forward. And we'll step to plank, exhale. So either repeating what you've already done or starting with the thumbs together, feet apart at mat's width, you'll just bring right hand to shoulder and lower it down. Left hand to shoulder, lower it down. And any pace you want. It's very tempting to get the hips to wiggle, but we want to try to keep them facing right down to the mat. Not swaying side to side. So your legs have to squeeze together. Whenever you're done with your next cycle, hands separate to shoulder width, feet to hip width. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Shake out the neck, belly in. And we'll bring the feet forward a bit. So it's a short downward dog. Press into the hands. Belly in, walk forward a little bit more. Press into the hands. Belly in, walk forward, further forward. So now your hands are by your feet. Inhale. And fold, exhale, bend the knees, round yourself. Hands are either down or poking into your belly. You want that Mula Bandha, that Uddiyana Bandha. Next inhale, we'll just straighten the legs, reach up, look up, Samasthiti. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. This time as you bend the knees, twist to the right. So you hook the left elbow outside that thigh. And we'll just stay here for one breath to get our balance. Get the palms securely pressing. If that hurts your wrists, just do fists. Let's look down, step your left foot back. So we're just in a twisted lunge. Swing that right shoulder back. Take one more breath. And on your next exhale, untwist fingertips to the floor. On the inhale, straighten the right leg, however much it goes. Exhale, bend it again to that lunge. And just repeat at your pace a few more times. You can flex that front foot or not. And try to keep the arms in the socket, regardless of what else is happening. Sometimes it's tempting when we get the legs straight, we kind of over round the upper back, but it's not really necessary. Okay, the next time that your right knee is bending, just step your left foot to meet your right foot. Inhale there, and fold, exhale. Bend the knees, round yourself again, like that same thing we did. And this time we're gonna bring our butt all the way down to the floor. If this is not a way for you to get there because of knee issues, just go some other way. Lift the legs, namaste. We're trying to bring the chest up and the shoulders back. Let's return to our squat. You could again use the hands, go some other way, or just lower your feet, lift your butt. Utkatasana, arms up, and twist to the left. Hook your right elbow, and take a breath there. Notice if there's any pain anywhere, and try to adjust yourself to fix it. And we'll look down for balance. Step your right foot back. So your knee has to keep pressing into your right arm. Swing that left shoulder back. And we'll unravel. Straighten the leg on an inhale and bend on an exhale. And just go at your pace. And when I say straighten, it's just however straight yours can go, based on your hamstring. If you had blocks under your hands, your leg would get straighter. Okay, the next time that your knee is bent, we're just gonna place the hands, step to plank, inhale, and chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Staying here this time. So when you were walking your feet in on the previous sun salutes, the closer your feet got, the more you had to work your hands, and you realized that necessity. But now that you have a lot of weight in your feet, the tendency is for all of us to get a little bit lazy in the hands and arms. So just swing your attention back into the shoulders, the forearms squeezing in, the fingers pushing down. And after your exhale, step or jump feet to hands. Inhale whenever you get there. Round your back and bend the knees. Exhale. Inhale all the way to stand. Straight legs, arms up. And we're going to twist to the right again, hooking the left elbow. Chest up. Press the knee into the arm, step the left foot back. So we end up in the same place we were before. All right, we're going to keep our twist. We're just going to rise up. So all of a sudden there's no help with the leg pressing into the arm. You can keep your hands in prayer or extend your arms. You can keep your back leg straight or put a little bend. Next, inhale, high lunge, arms up. Exhale, hands to the floor, three-legged downward dog, right leg up. Either stay there or touch your right knee to your right elbow and exhale as you come forward to that plank. Inhale the leg up again, push into your fingers. Exhale the knee to the elbow. One more time. So you'll realize again how important your fingers and arms are here. The arms don't stay straight. You're gonna have to work too hard. Okay, we'll meet in a regular downward dog. 2 feet down, 2 hands down. Squeeze the forearms together. Then you'll have a much easier time getting your shoulders to roll away from your ears. And after your exhale, step or jump forward. Inhale to straight legs. Round the back and bend the knees as you fold. And we're going to meet on our butts again. So however you can do that. We'll lift the legs, but this time we'll keep the knees bent. And we'll just think of bringing the thighs closer in to the chest. And this might be a little bit easier for the hip flexors, but maybe not. Oh, it's so hard. Just one more breath. So we're still like making a little bit of a round situation. Okay, feet down, return to standing. Press down into the feet. Utkatasana with a twist. So we'll hook that right arm outside of the left leg. And we'll push the leg into the arm. I'm going to swivel so I can still face the camera. Right foot is going to step back to the lunge. And we'll just stay here for a moment. Everything is nice, it's comfortable, we're breathing easy. So we're going to try to keep that twist as we rise up. Dig your front heel into the floor. Shoulders will stay back. And you just choose what to do with your arms. They can stay, they can reach out. Your back leg can stay straight or bend. Try to look back. That might give you an extra inch or so of twist. High lunge for your inhale. And hands to the floor, three-legged downward dog for your exhale. You might stay there or rock forward to plank. Touch your knee to your left elbow. Inhale, press back. Notice how much you're working your fingers. Inhale, you're pulling yourself forward. Exhale, you're pushing yourself back. One more time. That's what your hands have to do when you do ridiculous things like jumping into bakasana. Let's meet in a regular downward dog. 2 feet down, 2 hands down. Belly in. Armpits lifting up toward the ceiling. And after your exhale, step or jump, feet to hands. Inhale when you get there. Bend the knees as you exhale. And we'll meet on our butt again. This time we're going to hug our legs to our body. So we'll literally just wrap the arms under. So it's pretty easy, more so than the others. And just try not to rock too far back. So it's almost like I want to be right in the spot before this happens, right before I can't resist the feet coming to the floor. And when you feel that spot, you're just going to lift your chest, shoulders back, and straighten your legs any amount. They don't have to get all the way straight. You're just going to push the balls of the feet away from you. Shoulders back. And just rebend the knees. Try to keep your thighs where they are as you slip your hands away. And we'll return to Utkatasana, however you want to do that. Feet together, knees together, arms up. And fold, exhale, straight legs. Inhale there. Just send the left foot back. Reach up for an inhale. And let's take cactus arms. So our palms are going to face front. Knuckles and elbows are pressing back. On your next inhale, straighten arms and legs. Knuckles will just slide up that back wall. Exhale to bend. And again, inhale, straighten. If you have any back issues, just bend your back knee as you're bending your front knee. That's going to help you keep the tailbone moving toward the floor. Okay, one more. And the next time we're going to lunge, we're going to keep the knee bent, just reach up and open up to warrior two. And straighten that right leg, inhale, and bend, lower the right hand to the big toe side of the foot as you exhale. Inhale to rise up, straighten the leg. Exhale, hand to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, just one more like that. And we'll keep the knee bent. For exalted warrior, turn the right palm up, reach up and back. So that left hand is just sliding down the left leg. If you want more, instead of that arm position, you'll go Gomukhasana arms, and then it's the same idea, leaning back into it. So that elbow, that right elbow, is reaching away from the right knee, regardless of which arms you chose. If you're in Gomukhasana arms, let that go. We'll rise up, lower to the hands, step back, vinyasa. Or skip a vinyasa and go to downward dog. Shake out the head when you get to downward dog. Make sure everything feels good. And we'll bring the left foot forward. Make sure it's far enough forward that when you come into your lunge, your knee is over your ankle. If the stance is too short, see what happens here now, my knee is way out in front, it's really uncomfortable. So, big stance. Cactus arms. Press the elbows and knuckles back. Inhale, straighten arms and leg. Exhale, bend. And just go at your breath's pace. It doesn't have to be the same as mine. It's actually more helpful to you if you don't even look at your screen for this, because it's very simple. There's no fancy thing you need to see on the screen. Last one. And when your left knee is bent again, just reach the arms up for an inhale. It's just a high lunge. Open up to warrior two. Exhale. Adjust the feet as needed so your front heel would draw a straight line to your back arch. And we'll just inhale to straighten that left leg. Exhale. This is a variation on parsva. Inhale to rise up. Suck the belly in. Exhale. Hand down. Last time like this. Inhale. And exhale. We'll keep that front knee bent. Rise up to that warrior two. Turn the left palm up. So there's a shoulder rotation. And reach up and back. And whether you choose to stay like this or take Gomukhasana, that top elbow is moving away from that front knee. Two more breaths. Next, inhale, use your core to help you rise up, and we'll vinyasa out of there, or just step to downward dog. And let's meet in down dog B on the forearms. Elbows are behind the wrists. So check that your hands are in front of your wrists. Ooh. I didn't have my little sweat towel close enough to me, so I had to go get it. So just like we did before, from down dog in this position with B position, we're going to walk our feet in a little bit. And we'll very quickly realize how important it is to push into the hands, forearms, elbows. If you can, walk your feet in a little bit more. If your head clunks into the floor, you have gone too far. You should still be able to breathe. Let's walk the feet back again to a nice, normal, happy, easier version. And straighten the arms, downward dog. Let's bring the thumbs to touch in the center of the mat and bring the right foot outside of the right hand. So it's just a wide lunge. Right arm up, twist. If this is easy, you want a little bit more, lower to your forearm, then it's more work in the back leg so that the back knee doesn't get droopy. And we'll lower to the hands again. So rise up if you're off your, if you're on your elbow. We're gonna walk this right foot back, just scooching it back. There's no fancy way. We're gonna turn it to face the long edge of the mat, sort of halfway between foot and hand. Side plank variation that gets into this right hip. So we're pushing into the sole of the right foot. We're keeping that back foot flexed so that we're just on the knife edge. Lean back and lower the hand, step back, downward dog. And bring the left hand to the center of the mat so that you can step your left foot forward and lift the left arm. Decide if you want to stay on your hand or come to your forearm. And notice the tendency for this back knee to get a little bit heavy. So try your best to keep it lifted. There are other versions of pigeon where we stare at that back leg, but this one, since you're twisted, you're looking up. You can't see that back leg, you just have to feel what's happening. Okay, untwist, return to the palms if you're down on the forearm, and scoot that left foot back. So I just do this little zigzaggedy thing to get it centered on the mat. And we'll spin to the outer edge of the right foot, left arm up. If you're flexible, your left foot will be further forward. If you're feeling less flexible, it's just going to be further back toward your right foot. So find the sweet spot for you and push down into the floor. Lift your hips, lean back. And we'll slowly get out of there. Downward dog. Shake out the head. Lift the heels high. Inhale. Bend the knees. Exhale and look past your fingers. Stay here for a moment. Notice that your butt is up, your belly's in. You're in this little like ski racer place. We're going to keep the arms straight. After the exhale, pull yourself forward so your feet land between your hands. Inhale whenever you get there. Bend the knees as you exhale, curl into that little ball. Stay there. And gently lower to your butt. Or some other way, lower to your butt. Namaste. Whew. So either stay here or take it to low boat. So you round yourself down and then you'll try to lift yourself up again. We'll try that a few times. Gravity will help us down and it will not help us up. So we have to lift the chest and move the shoulders back. Just one more time if you're trying that. Woo, that was a fight. Okay, soles of the feet down. Find your squat again, and we'll just stand all the way up. Reach up, samastitihi. So maybe you didn't stand up that way. It's fine, it doesn't matter. Right foot's gonna step back. Spin it so it faces the other end of your mat. Triangle pose, just real simple. Who doesn't love a triangle pose? So your hand could be on your shin, your ankle, a block. I like to hold the big toe because then I have to use the core more. If I am given an opportunity to not use the core, I will take it. So I have to try to sneak myself into these poses. Let's rise up for an inhale and just pivot around to the other side. Same thing, just a very simple triangle. Lean that right shoulder back, belly in. And if you have your hand on your leg or on the block, just make sure it's not holding a lot of weight. You should be able to lift your hand without your body changing position. And we'll rise up for an inhale. We'll just turn to face the long edge of the mat. Let's bring the heels in, toes out, hands to the thighs, lean forward, and just push the knees back. So there's like no strength involved in this pose at all. It's just straight arm bones. Just pushing back into the knees. And you're just opening through the groin and thighs. Okay, so we'll keep standing like that. Just have your knees move back on their own and take cactus arms. So now it's a little trickier because the knees want to drop in, we can't let them. So it's a big external rotation in the hip to get the knees to press back. And just feel what that's like. If you've done ballet, you're good at this. The rest of us, we have to work really hard. We're gonna straighten the legs and reach up, squeeze the legs together, and on your exhale, externally rotate as you bend the knees again, so your knees press back. And we're just gonna do that 2 more times. It's a little bit easier to keep the rotation instead of have to re-find it all the time. So just keep your attention there on your hips. It's like you're imagining your heel going forward a little bit so that your knee goes back. And we'll re-straighten everything. And let's just come to the top of the mat. So you can heel toe your feet together or any other way to get there. Reach up, inhale, and fold forward, exhale. You can have the legs straight or bent. Inhale halfway, and step or jump chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Variation on pigeon. So the right hand center of the mat, right foot steps forward, this time back knee down. Turn the front foot out 45 degrees and let your knee drop open. I'm gonna just turn to face the camera in case you haven't ever seen this before. Most of you have. So just the knee, instead of staying close to the shoulder, is gonna move away, depending on the hip, a lot or a little. Come to the elbows if you can. Keep this front ankle flexed. So the only way this inner foot is gonna lift up is if the knee is far enough away, not because the ankle bent. Let's curl the back toes, lift the back knee. And in this one, you could drop your head and stare at your back leg to make sure that it is straight. One more breath here. And we'll return to straight arms. And we'll just step back to downward dog. Shake it out. And let's try the other side. Left hand steps in a bit. Left foot comes forward. Back knee can come down. It's easier to get the situation. Left foot spins out. Knee drops open. Maybe come to the forearms, which means your hands are going to walk forward. Your elbows will just be maybe an inch in front of your shoulders. When you can, lift your back knee. Squeeze your legs toward each other. Your left hip will go back even more. Okay, so make your way to downward dog. Take your time. And when you get there, lift your right leg up high to the sky. Either stay with your leg up or bring your knee to your left elbow and twist. Leg up high, inhale. Knee to the elbow, exhale. One more time. So you'll feel your obliques working, the side abs. Don't let your right foot touch the floor when it comes into that plank shape. All right, so we all have our right leg up. Let's step it between the hands. High lunge into warrior two. Straighten the right leg, and we'll lower the right hand to the big toe side of the foot, just like we did before, but now we're gonna stay there. And you'll either stay just like this, or you're gonna wrap your arms around your leg. This top arm, it's pretty easy. It's just rolling the shoulder forward and the elbow bends. The bottom arm's pretty hard. You gotta roll the shoulder forward and get the thumb of that right hand to lead under your leg. You might even need to nudge your arm with your left hand to clear that right leg. Okay, so we'll slowly get out of there. Step back, vinyasa. Binds take a really long time because the shoulders have so much going on. If you ever have shoulder pain and you try to go to the doctor for it, they need to test you for like 17 different things. Okay, left leg up high. Left knee to the elbow, to the right elbow if you choose. Leg up, inhale. 2 more times. Don't let your toes graze the floor when you come forward. So you have to keep your hips pretty up there. 1 more time. And then we meet with that left leg up. We step it forward. High lunge, inhale. Into warrior two, exhale. Okay, straighten the leg. Just let the tendons and ligaments get happy. And lower the hand, big toe side of foot. Parsva. So you can stay like this or working the bind. So that top shoulder rolls forward. Your hands will meet near your left thigh or hip, but not by your butt. So that bottom elbow is bent quite a bit. The top arm, you're letting it move toward a straighter arm. And your left hand is walking up toward your right elbow. Okay, so take your time. We're gonna slowly get out of there into this vinyasa. We'll meet in downward dog. And let's jump our feet forward so they land about 12 inches behind the hands. And then just squat. And that just makes sure that you have enough space at the top of your mat. We're just gonna come into bakasana. If you have any wrist issues, instead of bakasana, you could either do this, which is great fun, I know, or you could do this little forearm version of bakasana. Otherwise, the normal pose is lift your butt a bit, hands down, knees to your armpits, and start to shift your weight forward. Your toes are gonna be what shifts your weight forward, but your fingers are gonna be what keeps you from falling onto your nose. If you go too far forward, your fingers are gonna grip a little bit more. They'll do that automatically. When you're ready, exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. Pigeon, right leg in front. I'm gonna just look at the clock. Okie doke. Yay. So just a nice normal downward facing pigeon. My only request of you is that you don't relax too much. This is not a shavasana pigeon. You should feel something in this right hip. Okay, I'm just gonna rise up to downward dog, very simply. Step back and bring the left leg forward. Pigeon. So you probably figured out, especially those of you that are in my class all the time, this is prepping us for something yet to come. So it's important, it cannot be skipped. Sometimes when we're taking online classes, and by we, I mean myself also, if there's something we don't like that's happening on the screen, we answer a text, we go pee, we kiss our cats, but it's all leading to something. Let's meet in downward dog. From down dog, step your feet a little bit closer to your hands, just like you did before, push into your hands more. Either practice that, just like we did before, the walking forward and the trying to press into the fingers, or you're gonna jump into bakasana. To do that, you'd lift the heels, bend the knees, look past your fingers, and as you jump, you're gonna squeeze your elbows in so that they catch your shins. The scary part is, are you gonna fall on your nose? So what tends to happen is we bounce ourselves onto the feet. We don't let ourselves even get close. So if you look at my forearms right now, my elbows are behind the wrists. That means I won't be able to balance. So I do have to be a little bit brave to get the elbows forward enough to stick the balance. So just try it a few times. There's no point in going to the point of crashing your nose into the ground. And let's meet in downward dog. You just stay conservative until one day your fingers have the confidence to catch you. Let's step the right foot 3/4 of the way forward. Twisted triangle. Back heel down. Back foot is about 45 degrees spun out. Left hand to the floor or the block. Either side of the foot. Right hand up. Swing that right hip back. Lift the left hip up toward the ceiling and move the right shoulder back toward the wall behind you. I say those 3 things to myself as a little mantra in this pose. Back, up with the hip, back with the shoulder. Back with the hip, up with the hip, back with the shoulder. There's really no room to think about anything else in this pose. Except maybe this hand and foot situation. We'll address that on the other side. Let's just step back to downward dog. There's definitely no room in the twisted triangle to be thinking about life off of this mat. This is all that exists in the whole universe right now. All right, left foot forward, about 3/4 of the way. So it's not that full lunge stance. Back heel is down. And just choose a spot for your right hand. I'm gonna spin so that you know your fingers and palm can be down. Even if you don't have a block handy and you're on your shin, it's fine, just let it be on something. And you're gonna push that right hand into that something. And you're gonna try to bring your right shoulder more over that hand. The ball of your left foot is gonna stay pushing down as well. So you can say the mantra that we said on the other side, left hip back, right hip up, left shoulder back, or you can address this right hand, left foot. This is why we have to practice every day, because there's a lot to address. Let's slowly get out of there. either vinyasa or downward dog. Okay, we'll come into a squat. I'm just going to face this way again because it's brighter on this side of the room. Okay, so bakasana, you did it once from here. Feel free to practice that. Use your toes to propel you forward. Feel free to practice the jumping into it that we just did, or you're going to get into it from headstand. So those of you going from headstand are just going to do a tripod. So you'll lower your head, you'll lift your legs. You don't have to lift your legs any more than this. So I don't have to go all the way up. Bend the knees, bring them to your arms, and just get that far. Once you've got that far, you got to roll a little bit to your forehead and start looking forward as soon as your head comes off the ground. The gazing forward is going to get your chest forward. The exit can be either chaturanga or lower your head down again, lift your legs up again, and move through a vinyasa. And we'll try that again in a few minutes. Come down to rest just for a sec. You can sit in toe crunch, which for some of you will be no big deal, but letting your toes kind of curl under you. So the reason that it's hard to lift up is a little bit of this core butt thing, but a lot of it is your fingers have to drag you forward. So you're in this neutral space for your tripod, and then somehow you have to use your hands to create this. And then you have to look forward to get your chest forward, to get your elbows forward, to get your butt forward. It's more mental, really. All of you are strong enough. Okay, let's meet in downward dog. Right leg pigeon. So normally, when we get into swastikasana, we go a different way. But sometimes at night, I lay there during this quarantine at night. Not normally. Normally, I'm salsa dancing. But now, I'm laying there thinking about other ways into stuff. So we're just going to let the back leg bend. We're going to rock a little bit to our right hip so that it's kind of a lazy position. Left forearm is going to come off the mat to the right side so that it's lining up with the right thigh. So that left hand is now going to work to pull us into the twist, and the right hand is going to work to push. And I want you to think a lot about your fingers because they really do determine a good percentage of your success in arm balancing. And this pose, this swastikasana, it's the twist is determined by how much you're pushing and pulling. So you could feel this right tricep quite a bit working. Okay, we'll slowly get out of there and just step back. You'll come kind of through a pigeon so that left leg is straight and step back. Vinyasa or don't. And then we will do the other side. Left leg forward. Pigeon. So the reason it's called swastikasana is because the legs will make a bit of a swastika shape. I'll kind of spin around. So it's roughly this with the legs. But really the important thing for us now is getting your right forearm parallel to your left thigh. Anouk, I hope you have enough space. Anouk is working with a space in her house that's about the size of the mat. So sometimes going like this off the mat is tricky. Play with the hands. See what happens if you do more with your right hand, less with your left. And then the opposite, more pushing, less pulling. Just see what is more natural for you. Okay, so take your time getting out of there. We'll just meet in a downward dog. Right leg will extend back like pigeon. And then it's easy to step the left foot back. Okay, let's try to enter bakasana again. Or just practice any of the preps that we did for it. All the ab stuff, even this, when we were folding and we were just pushing our hands into the floor, that was a prep also. So feel free to do that. Those of you coming into headstand, you have to make sure you're making a triangle with your two hands and your head. Your elbows will stay over your wrists as you lift your legs. When you start bringing your knees into your chest, it's possible that they don't land on your arms where you want immediately. So you have to wiggle them a little bit. Eventually they'll land where we want, but not right now maybe. So drop your butt a little bit, start to drag your chest forward, gaze forward, and then squeeze your knees into your arms so they don't slide off. Vinyasa whenever you're done, and we'll meet in downward dog. We'll walk the hands back to the feet. Let's step on the hands so that our palms are up and our toes are by the wrists. If you have tight hamstrings, just bend your knees so that you can still get that wrist stretch. Drop the head, legs as straight as you want, and the elbows are bending to help us get the chest and head toward the shins. Okay, slowly release your hands. Bend into the knees and just roll up. Keep the head heavy till this last moment. Ah, feels so good. Okay, flying pigeon. I'm just spinning this way because I'm all over the place over here. Okay, right ankle to lower left thigh. And just sit your butt back. We'll just stay here for a moment and try to spread the toes of the left foot. Okay, right hand to pinky toe side of foot, left hand to hip, stand up and happy baby for a moment. So we're pushing with the right hand, we're pushing the foot back. So the knee moves back. And as you're ready, straighten the leg any amount by pushing the ball of the foot forward. So the tension between hand and foot is still there, it's just different. Bring the ankle to the lower left thigh again, and this time try to touch the floor. Notice how high your butt is. If you're touching the floor, your butt is still that high. It didn't change. Maybe you could put your palms flat. Your butt is still that high. Okay, let's come on up. Nice and slow, shake it out. So really the standing leg should be the one that feels like it just worked. The other leg was stretching and being pretty. Let's bring the chest forward, butt out. Belly in. A lot of the time when I give you cues, like belly in, it's because mine was not in. Okay, so we try to keep our balance. Right hand to hip, left hand to the pinky toe edge of the foot. Happy baby. It's really hard to get this right leg straight, but do your best. Push into the foot, get a little taller, and then start to let your top leg straighten. And still concentrate on the bottom leg, even though you're thinking, okay, top leg gets straight. It's really, is this bottom leg straight? That's your stability. That's the root of your pose. Let's bring the ankle again to the lower right thigh. This is a stretch just like a pigeon. Maybe at this point your hip is open enough, fingertips down or palm down. And just notice that your right heel is still on the ground. So the leg situation didn't change all that much, but you might now have to draw your belly in more to round your back more. Okay, so we're gonna slowly come on up, shake it out. Okay, let's face the long edge of the mat, and we'll be like in the middle of it. That's just logistics, nothing else. We're gonna twist to the right and hook our left elbow, hands to prayer. Feel free to stay here, or left hand down, right hand to the ceiling. Just take 2 breaths and try to get that knee and arm really close, really intimate with each other. Slowly unravel, straighten the legs. The more you push into the feet, the straighter the legs get. We needed that little rest. Okay, other side. So find your utkatasana with the twist. So the deeper your twist, the more options you have with your hand. If you're just on your elbow, you're gonna probably wanna keep your hands in prayer. If you can get your armpit close to your thigh, you can get your right hand down. Okay, slowly unravel, straight legs. Let's take a slight break from that. Widen the feet, hands to the hips, inhale. And we're just gonna fold halfway for the exhale. So our torso is parallel to the ground. Lower your left hand so it's right under your nose. And lift your right arm up. Try to keep your hips stable. And we'll try to stack the right arm on top of the left arm. Seems like it should be easy, but then you get there and the twisting is hard and we have to push more into our right foot so the hips stay square. Okay, unravel, other side, right hand down, left arm up. Push more into the left foot as you twist. And we'll slowly get out of there. Hands to the hips, and just inhale to come up. Heel toe or jump your feet together. All right, we'll do the same little twisty chair thing we did. This time we're going to take it to an arm balance. So when we were twisting just a moment ago, your heels were down. But now when you're coming into the arm balance, you're going to have some freedom here with the feet. So we're going to reach our left hand down, but not right next to the foot like we did in this version. It was right next to the foot. Instead, it's going to come a little forward and out. The right hand is going to reach quite a far distance out so that we have the same distance between right and left hands that we would in down dog. Shift your hips over your forearms, over that empty space between the forearms so your feet can come up. And then just take it back to the center. We won't stay for long because we're going to do it again on the other side and then again on side one. So find your hook. The deeper the twist, the easier this rest part is. But let your heels come up. Let your butt come down only a little bit as you can shift your weight forward and left. And then your feet can come up. Chest forward, eyes forward. Then lower to the feet and slowly unravel to stand. We'll separate the feet wide again. Hands to the hips, inhale, and fold halfway, exhale. Left hand down, right hand up, but this time, the right hand's gonna come behind the back, and it's gonna attempt to grab the left thigh. Then your left hand could stay, or walk it over to your right foot, or more like your right ankle. And then you'll be pulling and pushing yourself into a twist. Try to press more into your right foot than you think you need to. Lean that right shoulder back. And slowly unravel so that you can just try the other side. So it starts the same as we did before. And you could either stay there or your left shoulder is going to roll in so that you get your palm to your thigh. Right hand either stays or travels to the left ankle. So just like in that swastikasana, you have a little push-pull happening with your arms. So your right arm is pulling your right shoulder toward your left ankle. And your left arm is bringing your left shoulder toward your right ankle. So you're ending up twisting more and more. And let's slowly get out of there. Take your time, hands to the hips, and we'll just rise up. Walk the feet in. So we'll try one more time. This is parsva bakasana. We were talking about it on whatever the last class I did was. And one student was surprised because I yelled at her about this not being a pose. So watch what my hip is doing here. My hip, if I go like this, if I have my hands facing away from my foot, my right hip comes to my elbow. And then when I rock forward, my hip is perched on my elbow. So that's not the pose. So instead of having your fingers face the small edge of your mat, I would suggest you have them face the long edge, because then when you bring your hip over, there's nowhere for it to go. It will not be tempted to go all the way over to the elbow because that's really far. So just find your balance. You can play with the legs if you want. That becomes Kaundinyasana. It's a different pose, but it's kind of the same idea. And we'll just come through center, find the other side, take your time. I imagine the people who do this on the recordings later, they probably pause some stuff, repeat some stuff. But I like that you guys showed up live, because otherwise I have very little motivation to show up as well. So take your time finishing up side two, whatever your pace is. We're going to meet in a symmetrical place for Sarita D. And those of you who are in an asymmetrical place, we can wait for you, so don't worry. So we have the first two fingers and thumbs wrapped around the big toes. And we're just bending the elbows to pull the torso through the legs. And we'll try to get the shoulder blades to move toward our butt. We'll straighten the arms for an inhale. Just walk your hands toward the top of your mat, vinyasa. It was a very long time ago that I had you face the long edge of your mat. Okay. Let's come to hands and knees, and then to forearms and knees. So we have our elbows right behind the wrists. We're just going to do some cat-cow from here, nothing crazy. So drag yourself forward, inhale, and round your back, push into the fingers, exhale. And just continue that a few times at your pace. The only reason I had us go to the forearms is because it's a little more evident what is happening with the shoulders and fingers. That push-pull and the rounding and the lifting, all of it becomes obvious here. Okay, so let's meet in a forearm plank. So we'll just step the feet back. Once you step your feet back, if it's too much, just put your knees down, but they'll be back further, so it'll imitate plank instead of that tabletop shape. And we should be able to breathe here pretty normally. If it's crazy, just put your knees down. We'll start to walk the feet in, butt will lift. Find a comfortable way to do this down dog B. And you're going to use your fingers to push your armpits toward your legs. Once you feel like that's happening pretty well, bring your feet in a little bit closer and see if you can still do it. Now you just have to do it more. Okay, walk your feet to a normal place, straighten the arms, downward dog, let it be a little bit restful. Shake out the head. Okay, we'll come to hands and knees again. So we're going to do that same kind of thing, but some of you will take it to headstand. If you don't want to take it to headstand, you just walk your feet in like we just did. So we'll start with our forearms down, fingers spread, and knees up. So feel free to do the walking in and keep your head off the ground. If you want, you're going to lower your head so that it's pretty much between your wrists. There will be a sweet spot that you'll find for your shoulders. And you start walking your feet in more and more until you're on tippy toes. And then eventually we'll start to lift up. If you have any back issues, you're going to bend your knees in toward your chest and be rounded as you come up. Once you get into your inversion, I'm kind of in a purgatory here, okay. We're going to come into chaturanga from here by changing our hands to go where our elbows are. It's a very quick change, and it can happen at the same time that your legs are lowered. It's more like a split-second thunder into chaturanga. And then you just continue the vinyasa. Heidi, try not to get stuck on your belly. Keep your up dog happening, and the rest is in downward dog. Let's jump through to sitting and find Janushirasana A, right foot to left thigh. 90 degrees here between the thighs. Twist and fold. For right now, let's lift the elbows up and try to slide the shoulder blades toward our butt. There's various things you could do with your elbows. Just see what this one's like. Okay, so we'll rise up. We're going to lift this foot off the ground and swing it over to the left. So now our shin is in front of us. You can either keep holding, I'm just going to spin this way. You can keep holding your foot, or you're going to put it in your elbow. But not much else has changed. Just depends on your hip. If you were holding it out here, then obviously it's too far to go into the elbow. But if you were holding it up close, the elbow's right there. Okay, option, either number 4 pose, ankle to thigh and fold, or half lotus, heel to belly button. Then the foot will be at the top of the thigh by the hip crease, and then we fold. Those of you in the number 4 pose, I often like to wedge something under that knee, straight leg knee, so that it doesn't hyperextend in any way. Once you're folded, elbows up, shoulders down toward your butt. And we'll rise up and release the leg. Okay, let's bend the knees so they're kind of in no man's land. This is not a pose, it's just going to help us with something. So we'll put our hands near our hips. We're going to lean forward, and as we lift our butt off the ground, we're going to slide it back and straighten the legs. Then we'll bend the knees again and let the butt be in line with the hands, and we'll straighten the legs and the butt will go back. And just play in this zone. And notice how your shoulders are staying forward, regardless of what else is happening. If your shoulders went back when your butt went back, you would no longer have your butt off the ground. You would just fall backwards. Okay, and lower down. Let's do all of this on the other side. So Janushirasana A, left foot to right thigh, 90 degrees between the thigh bones, twist and fold. Okay, rise up. Take that leg up and across so that your body is kind of centered on your shin bone. And let that foot come in as close to your shoulder as you can, based on your hip. Your arms can just bend it in. And when it's close, there's the elbow. So you don't have to really lean forward to get it hooked in the elbow. It's more that you're sitting up straight and you're bringing the leg in. This is a prep for the half lotus and everything else. So if you want half lotus, your foot will be at the top of your leg. If you want number 4, it will be that flexed foot at the lower thigh. Either way, we fold forward. And we'll try to lift the elbows, roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades in the back pockets. Okay, take your time, rising up and straightening out the legs. We'll do that same little thing we did where we're kind of a little bit bent. This time, option to try to lift your legs also. It's crazy hard. So we'll have our hands down, butt up, and then butt back. Once the butt is back, you can let your feet slide in a little more, and then they can lift. It's tricky. Your butt has to counterbalance your legs. Let's vinyasa. You can just add that to your daily yoga routine. It's pretty easy to slip in because it only takes a moment. Okay, so we're gonna go for Mukta Hasta Shirsasana B. And I chose this one because it's one of the easiest ones to move your hands to find chaturanga. Doesn't mean you have to do it, and it doesn't mean you have to move your hands. Feel free to repeat what we did before, which was a tripod or forearms down. If you want this one, your arms are going to be straight, and your knuckles are going to be on the ground, palms up. And you just walk your feet in. As your feet lift, you push more into your hands. There is no rush to get your legs to vertical. If you can see your toes, you are safe in this pose and you will not fall into a back bend. Those of you who are going up and want the chaturanga exit, it's that real quick, flip your hands and lower your legs, exhale. And a lot of the headstands, it's pretty tricky to move the hands, but that one, the hands are kind of free anyway. Okay, let's jump our feet between our hands. Inhale when you get there, and exhale to fold however you'd like, come to standing. You could bend your knees and roll up, or not. Okay, so we're just gonna do one more flying pigeon thing, and then we'll head toward back bend. The right ankle to lower left thigh. And we did this before. You could practice putting your fingers down or your palms down. If you're putting your palms down, they can't be next to your foot. They have to be further in front. This left foot is going to be what propels you forward. I'm going to face this way. So this right ankle is going to solidify itself on my left upper arm. The right knee on the right upper arm. And my butt stays at the same height it is. It just shifts forward so that the second leg can lift. And when that second leg, the bottom leg, when it lifts a little bit, I just shift my weight a little more forward and I push down into the arms with that shin bone on both sides. The more I push down, the higher that left leg goes. And let's meet in flying pigeon. Lower the foot and stand. So it's the same idea as when we did this before. We were in like a squat type thing, and then I made you go all the way to standing. The way you stood up was you pushed it to the floor. Same concept to get your second leg up. So let's bring the left ankle to the lower right thigh. Feel free to stay here. It's a great hip stretch. When you can, fingers down, maybe palms. You could always have blocks there. If you have blocks, however, it is not going to turn into an arm balance. That's too precarious. So, those of you in the arm balance, your right foot just shifted you forward. Your left foot is linked around your right arm. Your butt is lifting. Your gaze is forward. Your fingers are pulling you forward. And take your time getting out of it. We're just going to meet standing. Hands to prayer. And poses like that, you just want to try them a little bit here and there. Don't obsess over them too much, because then you start to maybe get a bad habit or wrist pain or something. Let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway up, inhale. Right foot back, exhale. Lower the knee down. So we just end up in Anjaneyasana. We'll put our hands on that thigh and try to lean the shoulders away from the leg. Let's reach the right hand back for the right ankle. See first how it feels on the outside of the ankle. And just let this shoulder, chest open a bit. Try to bend your front knee a little more so the thigh is still opening. If your shoulder is okay here, flip your hand around so it's on the inside. And it's no weird twisty thing. It's just the arm swung back and it grabbed the foot. Don't stick an extra twist. When I used to teach at Frogs, back when Beth was over there with me, I was like the twisting arm police. Everybody was doing these wonka-doodle things with their back arm. But really, the simplest way is the correct way. If this is going well with your hand on the inside, you're going to start bending your elbow. The foot's going to come closer to your hip, and then you can get your elbow to point up. Your fingers will curl over your toes. We'll just take 2 more breaths. Okay, downward dog. Vinyasa if you'd like to. And we'll just bring the other foot forward so that we can do the other side. And I'm just going to spin around. So first, just hands to the thigh or knee, and just try to straighten the arms a little bit so that you end up in a smidgen deeper back bend. The knee can move forward of the ankle because it's a low lunge. And when you can, reach back, find the outside of your ankle, and see, do you still have the leg control here? Because I'm tired right now, so I'm feeling like it's hard to maintain the squareness of the hips once the hand connected to the ankle. So I have to make sure that I can before I start messing around with all these different hand grips. So when you can, you'll take the inside and you'll just stay there. One way that I've heard it explained, it's like you're hitchhiking. That's the orientation. And then you just plunk it onto the inside. So the foot and back knee, front foot, back knee are squeezing toward each other. And then when you want the bakasana grip, it all starts by just bending the elbow so the foot comes closer. If the foot doesn't come close to you, it's going to be too hard to swivel a hand. So just wait the months or years. When the foot is close, then swivel the hand. And it becomes a lovely chest and shoulder opener in that bakasana grip. Okay, we'll slowly let that go. Vinyasa. We'll meet in downward dog for anahatasana. We'll work to hands and knees. Walk the hands forward and drop the chin down. If that's too much, be on your forehead. If chin is not enough, go to your chest. Okay, we'll slowly come on up. Walk the forearms in a little bit and just find your down dog V. Either comfortably stay in down dog V or turn it into parsva, but don't let your mind freak out. Stay calm. We're in the realm of back bends. Parsva is a back bend. So I look between my wrists, get the balance, and then try to look between the fingers. We're going to just come out into down dog V again. So not a chaturanga exit, just lower the legs. Let's re-straighten the arms so we're all in just a normal downward dog. And rock forward to plank. Come on down to the belly. I'm going to turn around again. Okay, dhanurasana. We're going to just hold the outside of the ankles. Let's keep our forehead on the ground for a moment and just start kicking the feet into the hands. And with your forehead down, you're going to feel your thighs lift off the ground. When they can't get up any higher, let the chest and shoulders and head come up. And then the thighs can go a little more. Your choice, feet together or not. Slightly different leg muscles that you would work. So just do what you like for now. And come on down. Hands under the shoulders. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll again rock forward, lower to the belly. Dhanurasana. Either the exact same way, or this time you're going to hold the inside of your ankles. But like you did in your low lunge earlier, there's no weird twist or bend. It's that hitchhiking thing, plunks down. Okay, forehead down, legs up. When the legs can't go any higher, let the head, shoulders, chest come up. Kick a little bit harder. And then slowly release. Hands under the shoulders. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Okay, last parsva, and it's optional. So those of you who know it, just go ahead into it. Those of you who don't, I'll dissect it just a smidge more. It's like what you did before, that down dog V. One foot is going to step in a little bit, and your shoulders are going to shift forward. Here's where your fingers come into play. If your shoulders shift forward and you feel like your head is dropping toward the ground, it just means your shoulders are not yet strong enough for this pose. So just practice down dog V a little more. When your fingers can keep you, the bottom foot's going to give you a little push, and the top foot's going to give you a little reach. And you'll just be sort of in this place. If you're in a spot where you can see your screen, you'll just see that I'm not yet vertical. You just want to be able to be there, control it. Let's meet in a straight arm downward dog. And we'll jump or walk the feet forward, squat, and then lay down. For Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. So if you have a ponytail or a bun, take it out, because you need your head comfortably on the ground. I'll just lift the hips, roll the shoulders under you, interlace the fingers. This is nice. So we're pressing down into the feet to get the hips up. But when we're pressing down, it's not like we're trying to bring our feet forward or stretch the mat. It's actually like we're trying to drag our heels toward our hands. Hello, hamstrings. Okay, lower your butt down. I like to lower it onto my forearms so that I'm stuck in this wonderful chest opener. We're just going to take one more back bend. It could be that same one. It could be Urdhva Dhanurasana, like what I'm going to do, or anything else that you know and love. Just make sure that it is a back bend. It's not quite time to like check your texts or go to the bathroom. 10 more minutes or 5 more minutes or something. Not very long. And then we'll slowly come on down and just bring the knees in to the chest. Rock a little bit side to side. And drop the knees to the left. Look to the right. Bring your knees through center. They can go one at a time so it's no strain on the back. Drop them to the right, look left. We'll come through center. Let's rock and roll up to sitting for Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees out. And you'll fold forward to bring your chest toward your feet. This is Baddha Konasana A. Super. If you prefer, for any reason, it could be ankles, hips, back, you can have your feet further forward and make it more like a diamond shape. So that instead of your chest at your feet, it's your head at your feet. It's a different feeling. And sometimes we do the other one as prep for Kurmasana, that kind of stuff. Okay, we'll rise up, straighten out the legs, Paschimottanasana. You can have your hands on your calves, your ankles, the edges of your feet. I like to wrap under the feet. Then the wrists pull the pinky toe side of the foot back toward your face. Okay, we'll rise up, and I'm going to turn you loose for like a minute or two. I encourage you to try a shoulder stand, which would be this, but it is not necessary. You can do this or anything else, including laying on your back and twisting. And if you do choose shoulder stand, you're just going to stare at your toes the whole time. You're not going to look at your screen at all, because you don't want to mess up your neck. I'm just going to practice keeping weight in the shoulders. If you have no pain here at all, you can lower your legs to halasana. And then you would basically be staring at your thighs. Your hands could stay on your back for support or interlace your fingers. If you're interlacing your fingers, full pose is pinky finger edge of the hand on the ground with the palms together. It's pretty crazy. I can do pinky edge down, but my palms are not together. It's just a lot of shoulder, so take it slow. If everything's comfy, bend the knees toward your shoulders. And we'll place the palms flat on the mat and roll down to the back. And we'll all just meet on our backs with the knees in at the chest. So it's like a child's pose. Take a deep breath. And now let's bring the feet to mat's width. Bend the knees and drop the knees together. Open up the arms. They're about 45 or 30 degrees from the torso, palms up. Take a breath. And make a choice about what you want to do with your legs for Shavasana. I have a lot of back issues, so very frequently my knees stay like this for Shavasana. You could straighten your legs out. You can move over to your couch and put your legs up like this on the couch. Anything goes. Shambho, 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 Take another few breaths here. Start to bring your knees in towards your chest. Roll over to the right side. And we'll fold forward any amount. Namaste.